And welcome back to another episode of Life-Changing Challengers. I'm so honored today to have Michaell Magrutsch. He's an artist, he's an educator, he's a speaker, he's an author, he's a coach, he's a podcaster. The guy does it all. And you're going to hear some amazing stories about it because he is self-taught for everything. How you doing today, Michaell?
I'm great. I love to work on Sundays. It's so quiet, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the sun's out. Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles, south of Los Angeles, Laguna Beach.
So you're seeing the sun right now. I'm in Tampa, Florida, so I'm literally across the country.
Exactly.
And it's beautiful outside right now in Tampa, Florida, so you can't beat a Sunday like this.
Exactly.
So let's get started. I usually ask the same question to everybody. Can you tell us a little about your childhood, how you grew up, the complement of your family, a typical day growing up, some hardships, successes, give us the overall feel of how you grew up.
I was born in Vienna, Austria. I was a sick child, born as a sick child, and I went to school when I was 7, got the next punch in my face that I cannot read, write, regurgitate. I understood math, but I cannot regurgitate it. When I'm tested, everything I prep never works. So I'm not system relevant. So whatever I have to regurgitate in any system, so my whole life, I'm hitting the wall till I was 52. By 52, I wrote a book because I was so upset because art was what saved me. Art creation was saved me because I couldn't fit into school. So I loved music, like all young people are saved. I want to know how many young people are saved by art that want to off themselves because they can't be, Jay-Z or Beyonce or some superstar. So I had also success with being a DJ, selling out tapes out of my trunk, creating fashion shows. And about 30, I did a new CV and I looked at my previous CVs and I said, oh my God, I am an artist. I didn't want to be an artist. I didn't want to, say, oh, I would need to be famous. I just, when you're an adolescent, young, you just survive. You just one day after another. You want to belong to somebody, be in a group, have your friends, and be safe somehow, right? Yeah, safety showed me this, because I had to do it myself. I couldn't connect with friends, but in school and so I couldn't connect. I have 8 years of school and 2 years I had to repeat. So I'm completely self-taught in everything.
So were you diagnosed with?
Yeah, I was diagnosed. 50 years they diagnosed you as, okay, Brett, you have neurodiversity, you have dyslexia, but you still have to do your school. I there was not like today. There was no advantage for me being diagnosed. It actually was worse because he's the wacko, But you're swinging anxiety all the time. You don't even feel it. You don't feel the pain and the shame and all that stuff. You just grow into the shame and the guilt and everything else. And so art was literally my savior because I had parents, they were busy and whatever, not bad parents at all, but they were busy. And I actually was really good for me that they were not helicoptering me because it allowed me to do my thing. And they never said, hey, where's your money? Where's thing, whatever. They just say, they knew I was sick, also that was an advantage because I was sick. So what could they do?
When you say you were sick, can you kind of elaborate a little?
Asthma, allergies. I have to literally 4 times a year, every time the season changes, I had to take tar bath, stinky tar bath. My whole skin was open. I went to the hospital, got IVs and stuff. My skin opened up and I had asthma and hay fever. And I reacted to literally everything,
And Vienna is kind of more on the water, right?
It's just, Danube. It is the Danube. It's the big river that goes through it. And also, Vienna is cold. It's cold. It's not Florida or Laguna Beach.
Right.
It's cold. And wetness is for asthma really bad, wetness. So wetness and cold is the worst thing you get. And then all the blooms, Vienna is so green. So everything blooms there. And it activates you.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Did you have any brothers or sisters?
have two brothers and one sister.
You close with them?
I'm very close with my sister. With my brothers, it's kind of, I'm gone since I was 20. So there's no, yeah. My parents passed, and I'm gone for so long, so I don't have a relationship with them. I mean, I have a relationship. I'm not married to them or anything, but
it's the distance.
And I rather prefer not to do a phony, "Hey, Brett, how you are doing?" And I kind of like it like that. It's good. It's we don't have to write Christmas cards and bullshit, all that stuff. It's all systemic to make the system make money. So it's really, they know I can call them. They know I can call me. So
you're kind of a sickly child, which I understand, and especially back then when there wasn't the technology that we had today, and you've got a learning disorder. What was the first step toward this independence that you had of, okay, listen, I'm mainstreamed in school and I've got to get through it. What did you do to move yourself through the school that you did?
So the art creation that I did, the music first and then painting and stuff. Every time I created art, and I'm writing about this, and this is what my 30-second podcast is about. The art creation is the priceless thing. The art product is just a commodity. The creation gave me unbelievable self-esteem. I can say your podcast is the best in the world or the worst, but I cannot take away that you created it.
Right.
That builds a self-esteem in you. You created a podcast. You can do another podcast. You can do another episode. You cannot just do one podcast, and you get better and you adapt and you tweak it. And in that, you start trusting yourself automatically, because creation is our superpower. Humans are all one-on-one, and we are the collective creator species. Look, Singapore, New York, Google, Apple, collective creator animal. That's what we are. It's not Steve Jobs. If Steve Jobs wouldn't have the team, he would still sit soldering in his garage on the computer. It's everybody, Zuckerberg, all these leaders are talking heads, basically, because it's the team, and we love to do it. Otherwise, they couldn't have the team. Nobody would be supported in any company, from the smallest grocery store to the biggest, the Google. Nobody would be. We love to co-create together. We don't have to be all a leader. We like to create and to contribute. That's like a DNA drive that we want to contribute. We want to be relevant. So that's when you don't know what you're supposed to do. You want to be system relevant. You want to be a president. You want to get a title. You want to get any system relevance. Only system relevance is not the human-centric relevance that you have by nature, because you're one of one. There's no Brett Manus out there. You are one of one, and I'm one of one. And by dancing with each other, we open our life perspectives. And when we open our life perspective, we grow. Only what you pick up. In the dance is an experience of wisdom, of awareness. And that's unbeatable. So I love to dance with as many people as I can, because there's nothing more fulfilling. There's nothing more fulfilling. That's why it's so magical, podcasting. And that's why people also listen to podcasts, because it's natural. It's a natural human-centric dance that the two people or three people that talk to each other. It's not a system-relevant newscast with 20 people. It's a difference. That's why podcast is a blessing from a tech blessing.
I agree. And it's funny that you mentioned that. All right, Steve Jobs couldn't have done it by himself. He had a team. Everybody's got their place. I think it's the same thing. And I'm not big on putting politics in this podcast, but we blame these figureheads. We blame Biden or Trump or whatever, but we blame them. But there's so many people that have a piece of that decision. We sit there and we blame Biden for the southern border, but there's a bunch of other people underneath that are making decisions, micro decisions underneath, and this team that's either causing that, or when the unemployment rate plummets. No, it's a combination of people on a team that are making small decisions here and there that are creating jobs that are allowing it. And that's that cohesive that you're talking about. But you did mention one thing, and I wanted to jump into it since this is a good segue. You already talked about human-centric and system-relevant. Can you kind of go into those definitions for us as we go forward in the podcast?
So human-centric is, I didn't invent that. I just picked the word that was most relevant for what I feel that human-centric is. Human-centric means we are part of nature. We can be totally, we can go on Mars and we're still a part of nature. We are earthlings. We are all earthlings. We are part of nature, and everybody's a one of one. So it's not like there's only woman and man. There's not only a race. There is not only, that's the generalization dampens us of our uniqueness. Because if I say, oh, you're just bad, you're just another man like me, we are pigs and the woman want money. If you look at that system-relevant generalization, you're already blurring the uniqueness of that person. I'm not looking at you as a man. I look at you as a human, one human. That's rewarding. I'm not using, what do they say the systems about man? They're all weak. They're all macho. They're all whatever. I'm not looking at that, When you generalize only in gender, sex, and race, you're blurring the whole film. We are so much more than, and you make us all average. Everybody's normal, quote unquote. And then nobody can define normal. I mean, it's the funny thing. We're all normal, but what is defined when the system says you are normal, then define normal from me. See, they say I'm abnormal because I'm neurodivergent, right? But they don't define normal. So how can they define normal? It goes by statistics that change every year. So you were normal 10 years ago, but now we have better measurements. Now you're abnormal. What is that? This is generalization, because there's good white people and bad white people. There's good woman, bad woman. Everybody needs to be looked at one of one. What causes our problems is that we mix the two. We mix human-centric and system-relevant. System-relevant is we all decided collectively we're going to play Monopoly. We use money that doesn't exist in nature, but we use money to reflect our value, our unique value, to contribute to each other. So if I make hammers and you make chicken, how many hammers do you need? Human-centric means you are one of one. We are collective creator animals. We are part of nature, which we cannot suppress. So also, when we don't know, let's say you and I have a problem right now, or we think about a problem, we want to solve it, I would always go, at least in the second step, I would say, how does nature do it? How is it nature? And then I create a system that is aligned to the natural, And so you observe animals, you observe plants, you observe things, because you're part of it. Why would you not want to do it? Especially when you go outside. You're not just saying, how high can I jump a wave? No, you are in the water. You learn how the water, how the medium of water. You learn the medium of water to work on it. And system relevant is just, we have decided to play Monopoly, which is great because since we are creator animals, right? We can create our own habitat. It's not like the ant does just what the ants always did, an anthill. And it doesn't look different than the other anthills. We do New York, Singapore, we create. And that's why we are conscious, self-conscious. In my theory, the only thing why we are aware of self-aware is because you show me, you go in the woods, you show me, okay, I've got to cut down these four trees, and then we could take the branches off, and then we build a little hut. And so I come to your hut when it's raining, and I say, damn, I need to make my own hut. And so I can repeat that and make it better. And I say, no, Brad did it without a front door. I'm going to make a front door so you can open and close. The next one says, I'm going to put windows in. And then we end up having skyscrapers, right? I mean, it's just, it's in the evolution of being a creator, a collective creator animal. We all can contribute. We all are part. And the synergistic part, because not everybody's a lawyer, not everybody's a doctor, not everybody is a carpenter. So it's finding the synergistic, what we are good for, and not allowing the system saying, okay, we need lawyers, now everybody study for a lawyer. If you're not a lawyer, why would you study for a lawyer? When I grew up, everybody has to be a lawyer. They said, if all jobs fail, if you have a law degree, you're happy. And then now AI is wiping that right off the table.
So the human-centric is basically going back to the way we used to do things, right? So you talked about, all right, you have a hammer and I have chickens, but you have a hammer and this person needs to build, so he needs a hammer, but he needs nails, but he's able to provide wood. So he provides wood to the guy that needs to build something. The guy to make nails provides it to the guy that gets the hammer. And then this guy gets hungry. The chicken guy needs a hut, so he trades chickens for this to get the hammer, and it moves around. It's just like what we used to do, barter. It was the barter system that we used to happen. And it, you know what, I was been so fascinated with that without having, money, this monetary system, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I get what you're saying about going back to that right now.
Let's be stupid again. Let's be on a level where we were in Neanderthals. It's just remembering that and remembering because money is, after fire and the wheel, the third most important invention. It's the best invention, money, because it represented your contribute. Your one of one is of doing chickens, and my one of one is of doing the best hammers in the world, or the best hammers in my county. We can then buy nails, we can buy a hut, we can buy whatever, a cart, we can buy. I can say, I want to, he turned me on to animals. I'm going to raise rabbits, and I can buy them with creating hammers. So money is a system skill where you game the system. It is not the representation. So if I'm neurodiverse, I can never game the system because I don't even understand figures, flip them and whatever. And so it's not the representation that I contribute. It is a system skill, and only the ones that have the skill are extremely rich, and the other ones, and that's why there's no middle ground, because the best gamers, that's why when you go to Vegas, there's only poker players, so many poker players. You cannot everybody, and millions of people like to play poker. But in Vegas, where it is about money, there's only certain things, and that's what happens.
So what would you see as utopic then? If we don't go back to the barter system, which I get the money part, when you've got good representation, you're absolutely talking. I buy hammer, I make hammers. Some guy at a store pays me, so he puts it on the shelf. He pays me. Now this money is my representation of my ability to barter.
Exactly.
I've got it right there. So that part makes sense. So what would be utopia to you as far as, would it be a complete human-centric life?
No, the systems are very important. They also had always a good intent. There's no systems on this earth that didn't have a good intent. Starting with, when we live in a tribe, we have to take care of our horses. We have to get the food, all the stuff. So when one guy's really good with horses, and it's not a big work for him, and he loves doing horses, he's taking care of all the horses. The other loves to cook, and he cooks. So actually, it helps humans to do more of who they are. So not women that don't need to stand and feed their babies. They can go to the kindergartner, in the tribe, get their thing, and they can go out and plant, get food or shoot deer or whatever. They could do that because it allows you to. That's why systems are awesome system. The problem is systems have a good intent when they started, but they're outdated. So from the cell phone, from our cell phones update almost every day because they're so human-centric, because if people cannot talk to each other, they revolt, So that's updated, but any government or anything is slowly, if it's not a catastrophic issue, they're not moving. They're not moving. They moved in COVID, but mostly they're all outdated because people take advantage of, because the system lives off money. Every system lives off money. Religion, nonprofit, government, churches, they all live off, they don't have a spirit like we have. So you and I can talk and we can literally pump each other up. And it doesn't cost anything. It's just you and I talk. We just dance with each other. And systems always need the flow of money. The problem is they are not. What happened with money is because when it became not covered anymore by gold, and when it became fiat, when it became that, all of a sudden, money, the financial principles that say, and that's before capitalism, they say it's never enough, right? So if you and I make 10 grand today, we cannot say, okay, let's just live off the 10 grand. We say, now tomorrow we have to make 12 grand or the next quarter or whatever. So you have even quarters. Imagine the stress that is on. So you pass the quarter, everybody's freaking out from what, nobody enjoys the ride. The ride is never enjoyed because, we finished we surpassed the quarter. Imagine you get even more stress. You surpassed the quarter. You had the goals, you surpassed the goals. Now, the stockholders, what are they expecting? You surpass it every month, every 3 months. It is such an artificial stress. It's not a normal stress. It's artificial. And that's what makes us, it's never enough no matter what I do, right? Nobody, and you know what? All the conspiracy theories that say, only the 6 people that run the whole world, if they are not feeling that, they don't need to run the world. They have to all run the world, every single person. There's nobody excluded, not the beggar, not the billionaire. Whatever they do, it's never enough what they do, because the beggar and the billionaire are thinking 80% of their time here, physical, few years, 80% of the time about money. The billionaire as well as the beggar. The billionaire is just a cleaner thing and feels more not so lost. Basically, I think the beggar is free. It's weird. We have to make financial principles enough. We have to get the value of enough, because in nature, balance is the superpower. There's not one ape that runs all Africa. It's just, So because the financial principles are outdated too, because it's never enough, right? It's never, you have to increase. Now they can't even see loss. They say negative growth. I don't know if you knew the time when they say you had a loss. Nobody says a loss anymore. It's all negative growth. Right. So we blur each other. We lie to each other. We pretend. On Instagram, you see 2 classes. The ones like the Elon Musk and the Kanye and all these people. And then you see the rest of us pretending to be Kanye and Elon. It's just, we pretend. There's 2 classes. We got to find our one of oneness and be happy to and embrace that we are one of one. And if we bring enough in the financial principles, then we can update the financial principles and value that. So when you make 10 grand today, you should be kind of rewarded. You should be, tax-wise or whatever. Say, yeah, great you did it. Not just, okay, you did 10 grand tomorrow. You make $1 million today. What happens? Everybody sucks you in and says, don't pay taxes. Just get another loan so you pay less taxes. You don't owe us. So everybody owes each other, but systemically.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. So you're right. The billionaires got the stress on him, but most billionaires hire someone to take the stress off them. The beggar needs to know, all right, well, how am I getting my next meal? Exactly. Is not worried about anything else. He's basically got the one stress. Yeah. Okay, where am I going to eat? Where am I going to stay? Where am I going to clean up? Basically like that. So what do you think we can do as individuals to move forward and to become, at least start moving into that more human-centric, system-relevant balance rather than, what seems to be so off-balance today?
First of all, listen to this podcast a couple of times. There's nothing to learn. There's no 3 steps or anything. Just being aware of it makes your life 50% easier. Because if you're just aware of this, then when your kid is sick and you're a mother and your kid is sick, and I always say the same example. When you call the company and say, I'm sick today, the team leader or whatever says, okay, but hurry up, In a human-centric environment, in an updated system, the leader would say, we take care of it, of course. Because when my kid gets sick, you take care of my kid. So don't worry, Maria. Stay home. Take care of your baby. And guess what? How much better she will take care of your baby instead of she feels so guilty. She feels so guilty that she's letting she's be made guilty to let the team down. You're not a team player. you know? And that's, life is so much easier when you segregate the two in the perspective, because you say, we created all the systems. Humans created all the systems. There's not a system that wasn't created. So how can it ever be more powerful than a human?
Right.
How can the system demand that 650,000 humans are dead in a war? How? We created all systems. Israel, Palestine, Gaza, we created Ukraine, Russia, is all done by humans. And we need to just get clear about that. No, we created the system. So first is humans and then is systems.
True. And it's interesting that you say that about your example with the sick person and the person that had the sick child.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that you say that, because when I was working for major corporations and I was a team leader, I got reprimanded because that was my sole motto, basically. It was my theory. It was how I managed. It was my management methodology, was that my team needed to have their external pressures relieved, take care of that friction. So when they came into work, not only were they there physically, but they were there mentally, right? So we made sure that we had everybody's back. And I always told everybody, I says, listen, I understand that we have clients, but my first priority is to the team, because I take care of the team, will take care of the company, right?
It will take care of you. If you're the team leader and you have a cold, when 2 days you're done, they know what to do. But if you are mean to them, if you push them and you're anxious, we need more money, we need turnover, you are the true leader. Where a CEO is not a leader, it's a financial expert. As a true leader is a part of the team. I said, why is a part of a team? I say, because I'm a leader too. So I say, I talk to so many leaders, and they all say the best metaphor is a leader is the one that keeps all the plates spinning. The one I don't care about the red plates.
Yeah.
No. So how can a leader be hierarchical higher? He can't, because he's the one that keeps everybody steaming. A leader has to be the most self-aware. It's not like, I need a tough guy that is completely numb and leads a team. You have to be the most sensitive person as a leader to keep all the plates spinning. You have to relate to every team member. You have to put the team members in the right thing, and that's all human-centric. So a team leader, even a soldier is a complete human-centric job that is exploited system-relevantly. Because when nobody gets to be a soldier that doesn't have the feeling of, I want to protect the tribe by DNA. It's not like you think you want to be a soldier because say, I'm strong, I want to protect the tribe. And the people are not even conscious of that, but that's what the movement is. You have the passion for that. You see the leaders in military, they're team members. That's the only lead is team member. And everybody wants to be a leader. And there's also these leader coaches all the time. I said, there's not so many leaders than leader coaches. And why was everybody want a leader? You want to be a leader, you want to be successful, you want to be on top. And this is the biggest lie, because you think then you can finally be the one of one that you have, make your decision and be free to make what you think is right. And it's the biggest lie that we all tell, the whole world tells each other. Because when you are on top, you are in the ivory tower locked in. You are in an ivory tower, but you're locked in. You have 4 people that surround you that are naysayers. You are disconnected from humanity. And that's why when you talk to these superstars, and I say, if you can prove me, if you say who you want to talk to, and I think there's only one celebrity I wanted to talk to, and that's Rick Rubin. There wouldn't be any, and I wouldn't talk to him about music. So there's only one celebrity I want to talk to. I don't want to talk to anybody, because anybody that has spotlights on them is disconnected. It's too long. That's why I'm so for term limits. They're long in there, and they're so long disconnected. I mean, look at Biden. Biden has never been a human. He has always been a politician, and I was a politician. So you are disconnected. You think you can change something, and the system says, no, you can't. Happy that you're here, You can't change anything. So you have to adapt. So they're disconnected. I mean, I think Trump is exactly disconnected. They're not with humans. You know, and the longer you are in that position, like in the Senate, in the, in the other thing of Congress, the longer you are in there, the more you are disconnected from what you need to do. You cannot do anything because you're disconnected. You are dependent as a politician on news. And the news and the politicians are completely interconnected, codependent, and they literally believe. And the problem is when another human believes something, you believe him because you feel he believes that. These news corporations and politicians are in a codependent relationship, and they literally believe what they're spilling out.
No, and I agree with that. I always said that I'm waiting for that person, like even just a simple councilman in the city, to sit there and say, all right, this is what's going to happen. This is how I'm running. This is what I promised to you. Every time a bill comes up that's going to affect what's going on in our certain part of the city or in our certain part of the state or in the state, I'm going to send out a survey monkey and I'm going to get your opinion. And then my team is going to tally it all up, and that's how I'm going to vote. Yeah. Our 17 that just got passed, where there was 3 different bills. You know, we sent 60 million to Ukraine, 33.5 billion to, anyway. So that would come up, and we knew it was coming up. We saw it on the news, right? Now, where is the person that has a constituents that goes out and says, bam, hits the button and says, HR 17's come up. Here's what's going on. What do you think I should do? Tally those up. We have the technology to do it. You can do it really quickly.
Yeah.
I think our problem is, as far as that, and it goes right to what you're saying about human-centric participants, is that a lot of people, they just won't participate in something like that because they get so much email, so much blah, 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 because of all the other systems you were mentioning. Yeah. You know what I mean? What great system would that be where our representatives would actually have the ability to understand, hey, where are my constituents coming from? And then collectively, you've got everybody doing that, everybody actually hearing from the public.
When I ask you a question, see, that's why I say it, but everybody does it. Brett, I'm fighting this. I'm making people, in everything you are applying, job, make it opinion, they want feedback. It's never other. I say you gotta include other because everybody's a one of one. And you don't even have the time to think about answers that you would like. So you have to say, are you for that? Are you against her or other? And allow the one of oneness to contribute. It doesn't. It has 3-4 questions, and what comes out is Democrats are better, Republicans are better. It's totally dated, and you give them an experience where they think I was a part of that, because everybody wants to be a part of it, but they're tricked. They're tricked into thinking you're part of it, and then it gives them the relevancy because whatever the political poll is, it gives them the relevancy. The people wanted that. Yeah, but you made the poll. You made the freaking poll, right? You tainted the poll into left or right. You basically satisfy your lack. It's never enough what I do to keep your job, to do the least that you can do, you know? That's the problem, but we can't fight systems either because it's fighting the people that are dependent on the systems, and we're fighting them. We have to be clear what is system relevance and human centricity, and we have to on the one of oneness instead of the generalization. All humans say that, all, you know, the blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, the woman, the man, it's all thing. And you talked about Ukraine, right? The thing is, do you know that you get put in jail if you don't pay your taxes, right?
Right.
So who pays for the wars? The taxes. You actually don't have the choice to say, I'm absolutely for paying taxes. I'm not for no paying. I'm for paying taxes, but I'm not for contributing to kill somebody that I don't even know in another country, that I don't have a beef with. It's just, humanity is forced to execute wars right now, because if you don't pay your taxes, you get in jail. So you're forced to support killing other humans. And by the way, on that trip to killing other humans, everybody makes money from your money.
Right.
And that's why I say wars are so outdated that in 2 years, I think we stopped wars forever. Because can you imagine you're Jewish? If you were Jewish or Ukrainian or Russian, the whole world is one world. We are not, I'm from Austria, I'm here. If Austria would have a war, then I would say, oh, you are Austrian, you are one of them. This generalization segregates and kills us. Can you imagine on a higher educational level, the university, where they should look at the oneness and your opinion, whatever you lean to is irrelevant, is now, oh, you're born a Jew, you're born a Palestinian. Oh, you're bad. Because you're born. It's not even your fault. It's not your choice.
Right.
I understand when you say I'm Republican and Democrat, that's a choice, yeah? But that's not even your choice. And all Jews are bad. All Palestinians are bad. All Russians are bad. Everybody, when a conflict is, the system just says, hey, these guys are bad. And we all want to be safe. So we say, yeah, these guys are bad.
Oh, I get it. No, and I agree, because like you said, you can't choose that you were born white, black, Palestinian, Israeli. You don't choose that.
Yeah.
So we talk about being, you're a proud black man, or you're a proud Israeli. No, there's nothing to be proud about. You had no choice. That's
exactly
it.
One human. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. You're one of ones. And that's where I think you're right. A lot of this stuff happens as we just look at them and we're like, oh, well, he's a black man. Yeah. And black man is associated to being in gangs, is worth being violent. So now I'm afraid of that black person. So that automatically becomes a racist thing. But, there's plenty of black, Hispanic, Latino, all those people that are just like you and me, born into a nuclear family, went to school, went to college, has a job, blah, blah, blah. More of them are like that than are of the violent gang type. You know what I mean? So if we would just, like you said, it's just individually. There's no such thing, don't worry about, we don't take race, we don't take religion, we don't take gender, we don't nothing. It's on that individual's ability to give of themselves to the collective. And because they give of themselves, they get to they receive as well.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about individually? So we're stuck in this world, right? How can we as individuals live a more human-centric, system-relevant, balanced life?
Awareness is key. That's
awareness.
Because awareness, okay, so remember they had in the hospitals, they gave the hysterical women that were pregnant in the maternity ward cigarettes, right? And even the doctors were saying Camel and Chesterfields are the best cigarettes that most doctors smoke. Right. When the awareness became, there was no demonstration, there was nothing. The people just said, man, I think it's good to make money, that you make money with that, but it's actually bad for the kids and it's bad for, they were just aware. The people came aware. And enough people became aware. There were no demonstrations, nothing. And what they just say the system, because the system cannot function without humans. So the hospitals did one thing. Unscrewed the ashtrays, put a non-smoking sticker, and no smoking. That's it. Right. And it was the awareness. It wasn't the fight for. It was the fight against, because that's always amplifying. That's why I say this is really good. If people want to just think about this, because you are one of one. And if you listen to our episode here, you contribute unconsciously to it by being aware and discussing it with your family, or say, oh, yeah, actually, because it resonates, because I am never doing anything for any group. I'm saying our common denominator is humanity. For me, is whatever I put out can be used by every human to get clearer, or it doesn't have to be used. I'm not forcing them. I'm just saying I have awareness, and that I became aware of to my hardship and tribulations, and I'm sharing it with you. So first of all, you have a hard life too. We give you a really wide perspective of being human. And how important it is to be one of one, and not, oh, Brett, you're wrong. Michael, you're wrong. You're right. No, there is no. And I'm doing some tests right now with communication. And we find out when you have a human-centric conversation, which I also found out in podcasts. So we had 4 people that had human-centric conversation. And we contributed by a word, by equality. The 4 people said complete different things about equality, but it made it so beautiful. And I found this over and over, that humans are not right or wrong. They're all right because they are one of one perspective. So I love your perspective, your questions that you ask me, because it opens my perspective, my one of one perspective. And that's the human potential. So I get a little feeling, a crisp of, wow, experience the human potential grow, and seeing the limitlessness of that one of one is that I am and you are. Wow, dancing with each other is the key. That is the key. And it just blows you away when you experience that. And nobody can take this away. My conversation with you is one-on-one. We can't repeat it. We can do another episode, but we can't repeat it. And that's magic. That's magic. That's, wow, one of a kind. Nobody can copy it.
Oh, that's true. And with all the new apps that are coming out, well, they had Clubhouse for a little while where they actually had rooms where you actually were able to talk. And that was kind of neat. It's kind of starting to go away now. There's some other ones now that are coming out. I can't remember what it's called. There's an app where you make comments on people's posts, but it's all voice. It's all voice. So it's almost like having a conversation. The voice, you can hear it, you can see it. And it's pretty neat. I'll have to get that. I'll put that down in the show notes. Yeah. So I just want to say that this has been like eye-opening. You have a podcast called The Smart of Art. And
30 seconds. 30 seconds. Because I couldn't do with my neurodiversity. Yeah. It takes me, as long as you do an episode, it takes me 30 seconds. Because it's so hard for me to do it. So I couldn't even do it all. So I don't have any interviews that I gave.
Oh, no, but it's fascinating. And that's what I wanted to, I just want to let people know that, The Smart of Art. And the book is called The Smart of Art, The New Art Consciousness to Awaken Our Enthusiasm for Art. And that's available on Amazon. I will make sure I will link that in the show notes along with your socials. Let me ask a question what is your most popular social that people can connect with you on?
MichaellM.com. That's my website, MichaellM.com, because it gets you everywhere. And I think we should also add the human-centric system relevant. I have an article I did for LinkedIn, and if you need the link or a PDF to add it to your episode. So people, if they have any questions after our talk, after listening to this episode, it makes this crystal clear, and it really will elevate. At 52, I was hitting the wall. And after 52, after writing the book, where I segregated the journey from the product, nothing has changed. I don't make more money. I don't have a new girlfriend. I have nothing. It's just the awareness of, wow, because 80% of our problems come from system relevancy.
Right. But yeah, kind of infatuated with the podcast is the 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's so relevant. Everything that every nugget that he talks about there is relevant. And you'll take something away from every single one of them. I'll make sure I link that. And definitely, you've got to read the LinkedIn article. That is an amazing piece of writing, and it'll really go into detail on human-centric and system relevance. So, but this has been fascinating, and I really appreciate you joining us, Michael.
No, I love it too, because every interview is different, even though we talk in the same context, but it's one of one. And I'm proving what I preach, that because you can listen to every of my interviews and you won't say, oh, they're the same. You won't, because every other human, I dance with human. No, I just like, you ask me in between, and that's the dancing. And it's always, and you get something that other people don't get, So, right. And the Smart of Art podcast, the 30 seconds, is all about our first superpower. The first superpower is creation. You create a podcast, you have a business, you create a cookie thing, whatever you create, and to be aware how powerful that creation is. It's about creating art and creativity. And it's a question, and it's a statement, and it's a question. And it's made in that way that your uniqueness can answer it. Not there is no perfect answer. All my questions are questions that you can use for, you are one of 8 billion people, and you can use it for that. And the question, whatever, there's no right answer.
Oh, man, that's powerful right there. And so again, thank you so much. This has been eye-opening. And I am going to leave us with a quote from the musical Rent. The quote is, "The opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation."
Mm-hmm. I proved that in the last article I wrote. I proved that in the article I wrote about war.
Yeah, so just remember that, folks. The opposite of war isn't peace. All right, everybody. Until next time, this is Brad and Michael, and we will see you in the next one.